med school couples is actually a thing. I don't know if it's cuffing season but people be coupling up. I'm just like, hold on. What just happened? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Oh my goodness, it's so nice to sit down and record a video. I've been meaning to do this for quite some time now, and I'm so glad that I finally get the chance to sit down and chit chat with you guys, chit chat with everybody. School has been going well. School is great. I'm learning a lot of new things that I'm enjoying, but nevertheless, medical school has been hard. It's been challenging. I feel like I'm challenged every day, which is good in a good way academically, but also it's been a lot emotionally and mentally, just adjusting to a new state, adjusting to a new community, adjusting to a new phase of my life, which is medical school, learning to become a doctor. Guys, I can't believe, God willing, in 4 years, I'm gonna be a doctor. It's crazy, it's insane to think about it, and I'm just so grateful to God. It's been an interesting 4 months. Honestly, the things that have been keeping me going is this book right here. My Bible. I draw strength from this book so many times, I countless times. It's just been my source of strength. One verse that's really been keeping me going is that those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagle. They shall soar and not grow weary. They shall run and not grow faint. I think, yes, I'm gonna put it down there, but that's the verse that has really been keeping me going. It's always coming back to the word of God. What does God say concerning my life? Because trust me, med school is hard. It's enjoyable, but it's hard. So my Bible has been keeping me going. My family and friends have been keeping me going. Thank you to everyone that's always texting me, checking up on me. I really appreciate it, because unfortunately, sometimes when you're in med school, you just end up being in this little bubble of yourself and your classmates and what you're studying, that sometimes it's really nice to have family and friends check in. So thank you to all my family and friends. The first thing I wish I knew before med school, and that's why I'm really making this video for everyone that's going to be going to med school next year. Number one, please, I am begging you, do your best to move to med school at least a week before school starts, okay? Your girl was here moving in 2 days. 2 days before school started. I mean, I was happy. Hey, I even recorded an entire video my first week of medical school, and I was incredibly happy. But nevertheless, I was incredibly exhausted. I moved here two days before school started. My apartment literally had nothing. NOTHING, nothing in this apartment. I was sleeping on a sleeping bag for a week before I eventually migrated. Before I eventually upgraded to an air mattress, and eventually upgraded to a real mattress and a real bed with a real bed frame and all of that good stuff. But I just want to let you know, it's very good to actually move a week ahead. That way you get to settle your apartment, get all your things, your couch, your bed, all of those things you need, because really, I'm spoiled. Okay, Amazon has spoiled me. Now I sit here and I think everything should arrive in 2 days. I'm it's gonna be fine. I'm just gonna get there and, order my stuff, and it's just gonna arrive here in 2 days. No ma'am, no. Stuff like your bed, your couch, your mattress, things like that just take a while to arrive. The earliest you can even possibly get them will be a week. So either you're arriving a week beforehand or you're ordering your stuff a week beforehand. Number two, talk to upperclassmen. Even if you've done a master's of medical sciences and you know what to expect, it's still very helpful to talk to upperclassmen in your med school, because especially M2s. So M2s are second year students. It's very helpful to talk to M2 students, just because they just took the course and they know all the study strategies and all the study materials. Because granted, even though I have a master's of medical science and I was just oh, I know it, I know biochemistry and I know genetics and I know histology and I know pathology, it's still not the same, because you are now, at least for me, I'm at a different institution than where I did my master's of medical sciences. And even though the content is the same, the presentation is different. So for me, the first couple of days, it was just hard for me to like switch from the way I learned the material the first time to the way I learned the material the second time. And I really feel like if I had spoken to an M2 like, hey, you know, how did you study for this class? Like eventually, like I wouldn't have, you know, I wouldn't have had a hard time at the very beginning. We did have a study session with like M2s, but I still feel like if you can, try and get like an M2 one-on-one, be like, hey, what are the resources available? So the third thing I wish I knew before starting med school is that it's okay if you realize that you're gonna have to adjust your study methods. Like it's completely fine. And I feel like a lot of people actually change your study methods, because if you're an undergrad and all you did was like type up your notes, write up your notes, you ain't got time over here. There's not a lot of time. So you really have to be willing and open to try new things and try things that like other, similar to what I said, other upperclassmen have done. And it's okay if like you feel like you're not getting a hang of things. Don't like stress yourself out and be like, oh my gosh, I've not changed my study method, or like, you know, I feel like I'm spending too much time on the material, or just like stressing out about your study method. What I would say is that it's an adjustment. It takes time. So just be willing and be open. However, you should pivot quickly. If you're using a study strategy that you know is not working for you, just switch it. Switch it and switch it quickly, because the material comes to you so quickly. You don't want to be in a situation whereby you're using a study method that's like not working for you, and then you just see your grades plummeting, especially for pre-meds who haven't gotten a C before in their life. It can be traumatic. I mean, I've gotten a C before way back in undergrad. Thank God those days are behind me, but it can be a big adjustment if you're so used to getting like 90s, 95s and 100s, and now suddenly you're like barely making 70s. It's okay. This is med school. The material is different. The material is hard, but definitely pivot and reach out for help. The sooner the better. Okay guys, the next one, tip number 4, and this is a tip I already knew before starting med school, but however I feel like it's such a nice reminder to say it and echo it once again, and that is that things take time. Getting to know your classmates take time. Getting to know your professors take time. Getting to make new friends and find a community takes time. And more often than not, sometimes when you start immediately, there's just this like, I don't know if I should say pressure of like finding a group immediately, or finding friends immediately, or feeling a need to connect with people immediately. And like when that doesn't happen, sort of like feeling isolated that hasn't happened. For me personally, I prefer quality over quantity. I prefer quality friendships over like having like a quadrillion bunch of friends and not having like any depth in my friendship. So I just want to echo this, and for me it was such a nice reminder starting med school that these things take time, and eventually you're going to find a group of friends that love you for who you are. You're going to find a community, especially if you're a Christian. You're going to find a community of believers that are going to support you throughout this journey. So please do not feel like, oh, I'm not social enough, or I'm not friendly enough. I feel isolated and I don't have anyone to talk to. All of these things take time. However, do make an effort on your part to reach out to people that you feel like you can potentially be friends with. Just like show up to things. Don't show up to things you don't feel comfortable showing up just because like the first week of like it happens. I've seen this happen so many times, like undergrad, master's degree, and now in med school. Like the first week everyone is going to like everything, and they post it on a group chat, hey, we're going here, like everyone shows up. Hey, we're going here, and everyone shows up. Hey, everyone goes here, everyone shows up. And I remember like through my educational career, I don't want to mention where this happened, but it was just like one time it was just the same thing. Hey, let's go here. And I show up and it was like a movie, and I hated the movie. Like the entire 3 hours I was sitting there, I just kept on asking myself, what am I doing here? So guys, do go for, gatherings and stuff when you're invited, or like if it's a class group and you know you're going to be interested, if it's like a farmer's market, or we're going to see this game, all that. However, don't do anything out of your comfort zone, especially if it's a class like, movie, whatever. For me now, I always look up the movie. I just don't show up like blindly and randomly, because that experience, I remember after that experience, I was just like, no. Like, if it's something I don't feel comfortable with or I don't feel interested in, I'm not gonna force myself just because of the pressure of like, oh, everyone is going, oh, I need to make friends. All of those things take time. Eventually you'll find a group that loves you for who you are, that you can be comfortable around, that you can like share your faith with if you're a Christian, and just like, you know, be yourselves. Honestly, guys, about vibes. Like, if you're not vibing with a group, I beg, make you dog them. If you're not vibing with them, what I basically said, if you're not vibing with them, like, find a group you're vibing with. It's all about the vibes, you know, good vibes only. We ain't trying to like force ourselves into some situations that we're not comfortable with, okay? Now, why am I so excited? Now, one thing I wish I knew before starting med school is that you need emotional support. Don't literally just like uproot yourself from wherever you are, move to a new state and like abandon everyone you knew before. I didn't abandon everyone I knew before, but however, like coming here, there was just this realization like, wow, I really need people. I need people to talk to. Like, even more importantly, I need people to talk to outside of my school bubble. I found it very like helpful talking to my parents, talking to my mom, talking to my siblings, my sister, my brother, talking to my friends that are not in med school. It's such a breath of fresh air when you're talking to somebody and it's like not medicine related, or like, oh, did you study this for anatomy? Or like, have you looked at this for histology? And just like chatting about like random things, or like even you telling them what's happening in school. It's so nice. I don't know, but for me, I got here and I was like, damn, I wish somebody told me the amount of just like emotional support I would need, because as I said at the beginning, the med school is hard. There are definitely some days where I walked out of school and I was just like, I feel like I don't know anything. And like just coming to sit down and study, and it's just like a lot mentally. I'm exhausted, like physically, I'm just like tired. And then it's like you're tired, but you gotta study. You still gotta study because you have a midterm coming up, have an exam coming up. So you need emotional support, which brings my next thing. Med school couples is actually a thing. I don't know if it's cuffing season but people be coupling up. I'm just like, hold on. What just happened? What just happened? I mean, it's really sweet. All the couples I've met are like really sweet. They love each other, but it's a thing, and it makes sense because you guys are literally just like studying together. So it's like you start off as study buddies, and before you know, you're dating. And I mean, people are giving each other emotional support, which is what you need. So this is just a pro tip. Make sure you have emotional support coming into med school. Really hold on tight to the relationships you have, because granted, they're not in med school, but these are the people that supported you throughout your journey to med school, and they are the people that are going to be there when med school is over. When med school is over and you're a doctor, your parents are still going to be there, your best friends are still going to be there, your friends, your acquaintances, they're still going to be there. And you don't want a situation whereby you cut everybody off and it's just you in medical school and you finish and it's just like, well, what? You're a doctor, and so what? So please maintain your relationships. And it brings me to the point, if you're a Christian, this is probably the time where you're going to draw, or this is probably the time where you should draw close to God the closest, because I keep echoing this, but med school is hard. And that emotional support that I was talking about, I feel like I get it a lot from God, and from like, you know, spending more time in fellowship with God and like praying about my needs, praying about my emotions, praying about things that are happening in med school. Because you're going to get into med school and you're just going to realize they're just like a bunch of different people with like a bunch of different aspirations. And you really should know who you are and who you are in Christ. As I've said, your grades is not your identity. Welcome to med school. On the exam, you're still not going to know everything. You're going to see some things, you're going to be like, excuse me, sir, you did not teach me this. But that is med school, and that's how med school is. You're not going to know everything on the test. You're not going to be taught everything on the test, and that's because that's medicine. You realistically cannot know every single thing down to the T. That's how medicine is. It's always growing, it's always evolving. We're always discovering new things. So for me, emotional support is more important. If you're a Christian, this is the time to draw closest to God, strengthen your faith, spend more time in prayer, because like this is where I get my strength from. Sometimes people are like, why do you look so happy? I'm like, because I'm trying to remember the verse. It says that there's fullness in the presence of the Lord. There's fullness of joy, and for me, that's where I get my joy from. Sometimes when people see me and just like, you look happy. One time I called my friend and she was just like, and I'm like, dude, why are you sad? She was like, I don't know. Why are you happy? And I was happy because, I'd read my Bible, I had spent some time in worship, and I was just like, I just felt good. And that's where I draw a lot of my strength from, a lot of my joy from, is from spending time with God. Those are my tips for what I wish I knew before med school started. I hope you found this video enjoyable. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to like the video. And more importantly, don't forget to share the video. If you have any questions about med school applications, don't forget to send me an email or send me a DM on Instagram, and I will do my best to respond to you in a timely manner. Okay, have a good day, and don't forget, Jesus loves you. Bye.